Welcome back to another episode of my Bass Music 2022 Roundup series. I'm your host, GriimYT, and today I'm going to be counting down my top 10 favorite bass music EPs of 2022. Obviously, the bass music EP is a much more common format than the album, so that's why there's many more EPs that came out this year that I listened to, and so that is why we're doing a top 10. I did my top 5 favorite bass music albums in the last video. And today, we're doing my top 10 favorite bass music EPs. Some of these I've reviewed on my channel, some of them I have not. But I'm very excited to talk about these. Some of these projects are just incredible in many different ways. And without further ado, let's go. So, kicking us off at number 10, we have Panda Eyes with The Lost Levels Part 2. This EP was actually a sequel to another EP he did called The Lost Levels, and it's basically just a bunch of old school, kind of old Panda Eyes songs. I think on his Instagram back in like April or May of last year, something like that. It was a long time ago last year. He posted a video showing that he had a folder of like 1,000 song IDs that he had, old stuff, random stuff, and so he was kind of finishing them off and releasing them, and that's what this is, and as well as the first Lost Levels. But this EP was very nice. There's a few tracks in here I really did like, and yeah, Panda Eyes is just my favorite artist. I'm sorry, I love him, so yeah, this was pretty cool to see. Coming in at number 9, we have Uber with the Toon World EP, which came out on Cyclops Recordings. I reviewed this back in April when it came out. Really great EP from Uber, who is one of my favorite heavy bass music acts. Really great stuff, and I did enjoy this EP. I didn't think it was as good as Odium or Relinquish or something like that, but it was a great project. I loved Rot, loved 6 Feet Deep, Angel Numbers, not to say, just the whole thing's great. Great project from him. Can't wait to see what he comes out with this year. Really cool stuff, and yeah, I really enjoyed it. At number 8 here, we have Neonix with Dum Dum, another Cyclops Recordings EP. This one I also reviewed. Really just a great EP. Neonix is an artist who I only came into at the end of 2021 with his EP. I forgot, the Lee Jennings Zest EP. That's right, how could I forget? And so, yeah, when he released this EP, I was very excited to see the Dum Dum EP. I was very excited to see what he got, and yeah, really great stuff. Blocked and Wazap, I think it was called, are my two favorites. I think Blocked could be in my top 5 favorite Neonix songs. It's awesome, and yeah, the whole EP was really great. So I think he said on Twitter he's going to be working on an album this year, which I can't wait for. So when that drops, you will see a video on my channel about it. I can't wait. But anyways, Dum Dum, great EP. Coming in at number 7 here, we have Morata with the Ascension Riot EP. This came out in February of last year, and I didn't review it because I wasn't a big Morata fan back then. Took a little bit, but now I really like his stuff, and this EP was very cool. It almost felt like an album, and it says it's an album on Spotify, but the art says EP, and he also said Ascension Riot EP like when he announced it, so I'm going to count it as an EP, but could be an album. It's pretty cool, though. Great stuff. Umbra, I love. Tenebrous, but my favorite track's got to be Husk. One of my favorite Morata songs, super heavy and just abrasive, and the whole thing was great. He even said on Twitter that he doesn't care because a lot of people gave him hate for it and a lot of people didn't like it, but a lot of people like to hate on Morata because he's doing his own thing and he's creative, so that's a whole discussion though. Joe actually touched on that very well in his Heave review video, so with the whole Morata situation with him, so I'm not going to touch on it, but I love this EP, Ascension Riot. It was really great, and yeah, I can't wait to see what he's cooking up this year. I hope we get some of those sudden death IDs that he and him have. That'd be sick, but yeah, this was really dope. Coming in at number 6, we have Megalodon with the Blood Oath EP. This came out in July of last year, and I never heard of it. I didn't listen to it back then, but around October of last year, I did finally get around to listening to Megalodon's stuff, and he's just so sick. One of my favorite Never Say Die artists, and this EP was awesome. 3 little songs, but really sick. Horror Vault is really cool, and but I just love Sidewinder so much. Could be one of my favorite Megalodon songs. I think it's my second favorite Megalodon song. It's just the way that, and especially after like after Never Say Die shuts down and he stops releasing stuff for a little bit, he comes back with this EP. And by the way, this was also released on his own new label. Well, it says Triple Bypass on Spotify, but his new label, Bypass Audio. He announced it at the end of last year. Very excited to see where that goes, but he comes back in July with this EP and this song, specifically Sidewinder, and I love the tone it sets. It's super, like, you know, it's kind of like, it's almost like stuff's going down, you know? You could just imagine, like, a bunch of guys in a boat with a giant shark swimming around them. It's so sick. Yeah, great EP. Very excited to see what he comes out with on his new label, and yeah, anything he releases this year I'll be checking out, so really cool stuff, though. This EP is sick. So, number 5 here, we get into the top 5, and we have My Man Inhuman with Damnation Tapes. I was going to do the Black Mass EP instead because I like that EP a lot and I reviewed it as well from Disciple Roundtable, but this EP is way better. The title track is really sick. I love Shape the Future, and of course the Corrupted File 1 song as well. Nice little throwback to the Code Pandorum days, but the new direction he's taking this project in is just so sick, and I think this year we might get to see a new album from him. I think he said Lovecraftian Horrors Part 2 is coming out sometime, so you know I'm gonna be on top of that. But this EP was so fire. I loved it. Didn't review it because I didn't listen to it until about summer last year, but it is so sick. And yeah, I absolutely love Shape the Future. Probably one of my favorite Inhuman songs. It's just so sick, and the whole vibe he's setting with this new project and new direction, so good. And yeah, really great stuff from him. Coming in at number 4, we have Riot with the In Case of Fire EP. This EP was so sick because Riot released, I believe last year, in June, they released Arabian Nights with Sultan, and that song was alright. A little bit of mixed opinions on it, but then they completely blacked out their socials. Like, they were just gone. And I got really scared because I love Riot so much, and I was like, are they just done? Is that it? And then they came out in July with a few videos talking about the history of their project and them as in general, like, you know, forming Riot, their early music and where they are now. And they decided to completely rebrand, new logo, new art, new whole vibe. And they started with Shank, which is a single, and I will talk about that in my singles video. And then they came out with this EP, the In Case of Fire EP, and it was awesome. I reviewed it on my channel, so really great stuff. All 3 songs are sick. Back Twista especially, I love. When I saw the name, I'm like, please tell me there's a sample in this song that says Back Twista, and sure enough, there is. Awesome stuff. Great EP. Very excited to see where they go with the project this year and their new sound. Very cool. If they would release an album with all their new songs, that'd be pretty sweet. But yeah, it was really cool seeing them come back, and this EP is really sick. Coming in at number 3, we got my main man, Boss Fight with Agony District. I reviewed this EP back in July when it came out, and it was phenomenal. Boss Fight is an artist that I really think is super underrated, really sick. I love a lot of his singles from the past couple of years, and finally coming together with the Agony District EP. I think it is so awesome. Next Wave felt like a really complete project, almost like an album. If he put like 4 or 5 more songs into Next Wave, could have easily been an album. But this EP, Agony District, I love it so much. It is awesome, and houses some of my favorite boss fight songs. Grit, my new favorite boss fight song, a just ridiculous bass house track. Endgame, the classic, but I gotta say, the new song Toxic is just so dope. I think there's Toxic, Fake, and then there's On You, I believe it's called. But it was just an incredible project. Loved it to bits. So glad to see Boss Fight finally release it. I know this year's gonna be sick for him, so really excited to see where he goes. But yeah, this EP kicks ass. Really cool. And coming at number 2, we got Space Laces with High Voltage. This one is probably in the top 5 EPs on everybody's lists, and for good reason. Number 1, finally seeing Space Laces release and finish Voltage tracks for the first time. I mean, he did do a couple singles here and there, but seeing him finally finish Voltage tracks and put them into a body of work like this is awesome. Obviously, this isn't similar to the Overdrive EP very much, because that was more like a real body of work. It had its own feeling and vibe. This is more just like a little collection of songs from the Voltage series that he finished up. And the other reason it's probably so high on the list, because it is incredibly good. It's Space Laces. What can we say? This guy is just on another level. Ask any producer, and he's the best ever. And for good reason. I think my favorite 2 tracks from this have to be Droid, just because when I first reacted to this EP, clicking play on the song Droid and hearing the introduction and like kind of like setting in like this song is actually finished, like it's actually out. It was such an incredible feeling after hearing it in Voltage 3 so much, hearing the full thing finalized, even though it's only 2 minutes 50 seconds. That's what he really does. He doesn't need to make these Voltage IDs 4 minutes long, 4.5 minutes, little 2-minute, 3-minute songs. That's all you need, because this song kicks ass and it's only 2.5 minutes. My favorite, though, has to be Not Bees. I was heartbroken that Acid Boys wasn't on this EP, because when I heard him showcase Disco Bloodbath, I was like, maybe it's Voltage 1 songs. And he did Disco Bloodbath, and he did Not Bees. Literally the 2 IDs right around Acid Boys. I was so upset. but that's coming soon, guys, don't worry. But yeah, this song, Not Bees, it's amazing. What can we say? Probably one of the best Space Laces songs, legendary Space Laces song, and it was dope. And the rest of it was very, very good too. Hearing Splinters Finalized 2 was great. I remember actually downloading a video from YouTube that was just the Splinters ID and listening to it because I loved it. Now we get the final thing, and it's awesome. Incredible EP from him. Super happy that it's out, and I can't wait for this year. I know we're going to get some more Voltage IDs, and I will review them. But yeah, this was awesome. And here we are, guys. Number 1, my favorite EP of 2022. And I have to say, this was surprising. I thought High Voltage was going to be my number 1. I thought Agony District was going to be my number 1. But then I thought about it more and more, and I realized that this EP right here is very, very deserving of number 1, and just, it has to be there. Zomboy's Dead Man Walking Part 1. I reviewed this EP back when it came out on my birthday. Yes, this EP came out on my birthday last year, which was awesome. And after hearing Flatlined back in April and Desperado a little bit later, I'll talk about those in my singles video. I was so excited for this EP. When it got announced, I was through the roof. And then hearing it on my birthday, listening to all the songs, nothing like it. I think every song in here is a perfect example of why Zomboy is gonna definitely be the Never Say Die carrier. And that's what I love about this EP. This isn't Zomboy just releasing an EP because he has music. It's like his way of saying Never Say Die is gone, but I'm not. And we're not in general. All the Never Say Die artists, him, Must Die, Eptic, Space Laces, of course, Company, Sultan, Spaghetti, all the Never Say Die guys, they're here to stay. The label could be gone, but they're not. And this EP is basically Zomboy's way of saying, I will carry the torch forward. I mean, look at the lyrics in Dead Man Walking, which, by the way, is my new favorite Zomboy song, the title track, Dead Man Walking. Just, overall, the song itself is insane, but the fact that it's, like, referencing Never Say Die, and it's, like, Zomboy's way of saying, you know, I'm the carrier of the torch for Never Say Die, I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. And the other songs are great too. Desperado and Flatline, like I mentioned, both are excellent. And then we get Last One Standing with Must Die, another Must Die collab. I think this might be the weakest song in here, believe it or not. It's just another dubstep song that they've made, but I love Flatline and Desperado especially. Those are both awesome. But yeah, this whole EP, it was basically like Never Say Die's gone, but the legacy will always live on. And even in the video too, they had like a little Never Say Die logo that was next to it. It was just awesome. The whole thing is insane. I can't wait to see what Dead Man Walking Part 2 is going to be like, because this is obviously Part 1, so we'll have to see. And by the way, I forgot to mention, of course, this whole thing was released on Zomboy's brand new label, Rotten Roll Records, which is awesome. And yeah, number 1 here, Dead Man Walking Part 1, had to be. So yeah, incredible work, Zomboy. And boys and girls, that is it. My 10 favorite EPs of 2022. There was a lot more EPs that I wanted to mention in here, but I couldn't have space. So these 10 I think are all great in their own ways. And yeah, I reviewed most of these on my channel. I believe I didn't review Blood Oath, I didn't review Ascension Right, and maybe a couple others, but most of these I did review on my channel. So yeah, but I just absolutely loved all of these, especially, like I said, Dead Man Walking. That had to be number 1. But anything could be anything could be like swapped around here. These are just 10 amazing EPs, but I put them in this order. But yeah, overall, incredible stuff from all these different artists. Make sure you check out all the different EPs that I mentioned. They're all awesome. And let me know in the comments, what was your favorite EP this year? Was it one that I talked about in my video? Is it one that's not, you know, that I didn't mention? Is it one that I didn't listen to? Let me know what's your favorite EP from last year, and I definitely will check it out if it's one I haven't listened to. So, but yeah, thank you guys so much for watching the video. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you all later. Peace.